Hayden Deegan, was the penalty deserved? I don't believe so. And let's deep dive into the scenario. We have this rider on the outside, the number 38 of Deegan, and notice some of the riders behind him, most notably this Gage and Dominique. They are well behind him as he gets pushed off the track. Yes, there's a small acceleration there, but then he pulls a tear off and he's getting on safely. And guess who's in front of him? We've got Gage, and you also have Dominique, who were well behind him when he exited the track. Again, here are those two riders, and at the end, those two riders are in front of him. He did not gain an advantage, where the provisioning results say that he was penalized 2 positions, moving from 7th to 9th because of this. Do I believe that there was some disciplinary action that needed to happen to Deegan since his win in Arlington with the ghost ride and getting a written warning? This rider has not been on probation, but some of the antics he pulled at round 9 here in Alabama should have been seen with some sort of repercussion. In the main event, you have him trying to get around Cody Schock, and Cody Schock ends up breaking his collarbone completely. He was riding with a cracked collarbone. He'll probably end up just plating it and being just fine. However, the question is, was this necessary? And this to me seems more of like a racing incident. He took the line away. It was across the start. It is a fast section, so these riders are moving incredibly quick into this last corner, and Cody Schock is trying to cover his line. Deegan had the inside. It is unfortunate that is what happened. This guy is racing for a championship, and he is behind. He's coming off a race win. He wants to be the champion. He's got big plans. Cody Schock is in the points hunt as well. He needs to get around that rider. It wasn't just for position. It was for a rider that is ahead of him in the points championship. So was this aggressive? Was it overly aggressive? Possibly. This would be one of the reasons as to why you would give a penalty, not previously about him having a off-track advantage, because I do not believe that happened. But throughout the night, we had the heat race where Deegan showed his age here with Seth. He's got the whole shot, and unfortunately, he takes the wheel from Seth, and the bike gets attached to him. And if you watched my track analysis video, I talked about how long this start stretch was going to be. If it wasn't going to be muddy, you were potentially going to see things like this happen, where he is just on the outside, he's cutting him off, the riders have nowhere else to go, so they're just slamming on the brakes. And this is no different from what Vince Freeze did to Hunter Lawrence. And we also have a look at what happened in qualifying between Cooper Webb, Jet Lawrence, and Jason Anderson, where typically the same scenario happened. You have riders pinching, and some guys can't slow down as fast. In this scenario, Jason Anderson couldn't slow down as fast because of some of the braking bumps coming into the first corner here. And keep in mind, this is for qualifying, so it's not essentially a full-blown start. So for this to happen, there is surprising. But it wasn't really anyone's fault. You've got Jet saying, hey, what was that? And you've got Jason Anderson thinking it's Jet's fault, but was it Cooper's fault? No, Cooper's just slowing down. You've got Ken Roxon. Notice all these guys holding their rear brake. They're on their rear brake, and they're letting off around the corner. Bringing it back to the topic at hand with Deegan. In the heat race, he takes Seth's bike, and he pushes it over. Aggressive, uncalled for, doesn't need. So maybe because he got a warning for a conduct violation, perhaps the penalty should have been for that. I'm not saying his actions were right. In my opinion, this is definitely wrong. Not the most professional behavior. However, the docking of 2 positions is for the wrong antic. The docking of positions or fines should have been for the violation of conduct with Seth Haymaker. He went into the pits. Also, what he did to Cody Schock with aggressive riding. So I want to know what your guys' opinion is as well. And if this video adds any value, make sure that you are wheel tapping that subscribe button and stay tuned for tomorrow's videos on the line. And Deegan took to socials to apologize, saying, I'm sorry for the emotions, got the best of me tonight. Now back to work. I'll see you in Indy. Takes it on the chin, moves on. Speaking of moving on, This segment could be yours. I'm looking for advertisers. My email is in the About section on my channel. So is the join button, where you can have some sweet emojis. You could join my Patreon, where I drop exclusive content there. Make sure you're checking this stuff out. And really, the biggest story that is being swept under the rug is hitting the 30-second board on the second lap of the 450 main event. Luckily, this young lady had those plastic 30-second boards because Cooper Webb hit her hard. No pun intended. And she goes down like a sack of rocks. Boom. Right there. Looks ugly. I'm glad nobody was hurt. There was no red flags. And thank goodness she did not fall into oncoming traffic, because this could have been way more ugly. And you could imagine what would have happened if Cooper Webb bent his rear brake or broke off his front brake or his clutch lever, something. This could have been a championship-ending event right here. And the biggest interview was brought by Dirk Shark and More Than Moto.
Sweet Home, Alabama.
Okay, what happened?
Okay, so I was walking. I'd walked that way 2 other times previously in the race. And then I guess what happened was, since I was the last girl, I had to grab the boards. And so I guess between the time that I grabbed the boards, and I guess because, 450, they were going faster, something happened with the time frame, and I didn't make it across. That's all I got.
And then, did you get hit?
I think the bike hit the board, so thankfully I had the board, because I think the board just got me.
She's not wrong. She didn't have that much time. The lap times were around 45 seconds for her to get the freak off the track. Watch Tomac almost end his night by getting a giant hole in one of the ruts in the rhythm section. He's going to go step over, triple, and supposedly triple again, but he gets stuck in a giant hole and has to go double. Watch how that bike kicks him. And you've got AP following him behind him, and it does the same thing to him as well. Lands, gets in the deep rut that goes to his foot pegs, hits the huge hole that kicks that motorcycle, almost goes down. They have to adjust their body language to keep the bike from endoing. I would say AP does a better job than Tomac with the same hole. As they stand up to counteract what happens to the bike, leans back, soaks it up, continues moving forward. Tomorrow, I got the lines video, so make sure you stay tuned. As always, keep it WFO. Ba-ra-da-da-da-da.